Get ready for some plant magic. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and slightly addictive world of propagating Hoya plants. Imagine taking one little cutting and turning it into a lush, leafy masterpiece. It's easier than you think, more exciting than watching paint dry, and way more rewarding. Whether you're a seasoned plant whisperer or someone who just managed to keep their first succulent alive, this is for you. Let's get started and grow something truly amazing. Now, propagating a Hoya plant is like baking a cake. Instead of flour and eggs, we're working with water, patience, and a little bit of plant wizardry. The first step, the cuttings. These should come from a mature plant and include at least one node. This little bump where the leaves grow is essential because it's the spot where roots will begin to form. If you didn't take the cuttings yourself, inspect them carefully, make sure they're fresh, healthy, and free from pests. No mushy leaves or funky discoloration allowed. Think of it like choosing the best ingredients for a recipe. Quality matters. Once you've got your cuttings, it's time for the fun part. Water propagation. This is where the magic really begins. Grab a clear glass container. Yup, it's got to be clear so you can watch the roots grow right before your eyes. Fill it with clean room temperature water. No fancy water needed here. Just good old tap water will do. The beauty of a clear container is that you get to see the roots develop without disturbing the cuttings. Pop the cuttings in, making sure the nodes are submerged in water. The leaves should stay dry. We want those roots to do all the work. Now, here's where things get a little slow at first, but don't worry, patience is key. For the first 24 to 48 hours, the cuttings are simply adjusting to their new watery home. It might seem like nothing is happening, but behind the scenes, the plant is doing some serious behind-the-scenes work. The nodes are absorbing moisture, rehydrating, and getting ready to start producing roots. It's like the plant is having a spa day and getting prepped for the big job. By day 2 or 3, things start to get a little more interesting. You may notice that the nodes look a bit puffier, as if they're filled with water. That's a good sign. This is when the plant cells are starting to divide, preparing to grow those first tiny roots. If you look really closely, you might even spot tiny little bumps forming on the nodes. Those are the very first signs of new root growth. By day 5 to 7, the real fun begins. Tiny white roots start to sprout from the nodes. These roots are delicate, almost translucent, and look like little hair-like strands. At this stage, they're fragile, but they're the key to your plant's future survival. Around this time, you might also notice the leaves looking a little more perky. It's a subtle sign, but when the leaves firm up, it means the cutting is absorbing moisture and doing well. It's like the plant is flexing its roots. Between days 8 and 12, the rooting process continues to gain momentum. Those thin, fragile roots begin to get stronger and longer, ready to dig deep into soil. You may see even more roots sprouting from the same node, or notice tiny shoots at the tips of the cutting. This is when your plant's energy is fully engaged in root growth, making the transition to soil much easier. At this point, the cutting is looking less like a fragile baby and more like a budding superstar ready to take on the world. By day 16 or 17, your cutting is ready for its big move. The roots should be long enough to support the plant in soil, and they'll be looking much more substantial. They're sturdy, strong, and more than capable of thriving in the earth. When it's time to remove the cutting from the water, handle it with care. The roots are delicate, so be gentle as you lift the cutting from the glass. It's like holding a precious little bundle of potential, ready to start its next chapter. Now, for the next big step, potting up your cutting. This is where the fun continues. Choose a pot that has good drainage and fill it with a well-draining soil mix. Hoyas love light, airy soil, so a mix that includes orchid bark, perlite, and peat moss is perfect for them. If you're feeling extra fancy, you can add a layer of hydro granules at the bottom of the pot to improve drainage. It's like giving your plant a little extra cushion for its roots. Carefully place the cutting into the pot, ensuring the roots are well covered but not packed too tightly. You want to give the roots space to spread out and grow, not be cramped. Lightly water the soil to help it settle around the roots, but don't overdo it. Think of this step as tucking your plant in for a good night's rest. Once your cutting is potted, it's time to provide the right environment to help it flourish. Hoyas are fairly low maintenance, so as long as you give them bright, indirect light, they're happy. They don't need to be watered every day. Let the soil dry out a little between waterings. This plant thrives on a bit of neglect, so resist the urge to water it constantly. When you care for your Hoya, you're giving it a chance to grow into something stunning and unique. As your propagated Hoya grows, it will continue to surprise you with its beauty. Soon enough, it will start to put out new leaves, and you'll notice it becoming fuller and more robust. And one day, when you least expect it, your Hoya will reward you with flowers that are as beautiful as the journey you've taken together. Outroa. Wow, what a transformation! From a simple cutting to a thriving plant, propagating a Hoya is like watching nature's magic unfold right in front of your eyes. It's amazing to see how much life can come from just a small piece of a plant, and now you know exactly how to make it happen. If you enjoyed this journey with us, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your fellow plant lovers, and let us know in the comments how your propagation adventures are going. Are you ready to try this at home? Or maybe you've got some tips of your own. We want to hear all about it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with more fun plant hacks, tips, and tricks. The more we grow, the greener the world becomes, and we're in this together. Remember, with a little patience and care you can grow it.